got started rather quickly. Phelps struck out, Adams struck out.
They're not identical, but similar from an approach standpoint. That's the one you got to be ready to hit. Granted, that's away, but from a height standpoint, that's the one you got to hunt. When you're behind in the count, you can't be too picky. This one right around the belt and on the outside corner, and Curley doesn't pull the trigger, now in a really tough spot at 0-2.
2 on for him, and off the cap.
First look at the cutter there. So the fastball will be anywhere from 98 to 95, and then there's a cutter that's 88 to 90.
Takes ball 2.
Hammer curveball, and it'll even show you a split. You see him gripping it right there.
There's just something about facing Texas A&M. I know it hadn't been the best year offensively, but still, if you're a Georgia fan, you got to feel like, man, one more run would certainly make me feel a whole lot better going to the 9th.
Well, that way one swing of the bat can't beat you.
And guys who throw a split will have that be their first grip as they go into glove.
You already mentioned how quickly the inning was going, right? Back-to-back punch-outs to start it, and then all of a sudden you see that 3-2, 2-out walk, extends the inning, base hit, taking an extra base, and now you got some opportunity to do a little damage first and third, and good hitters count 2-1.
Right there. That's the one he wants you to chase. Gage Wood went 4 1/3 and struck out 9 against Texas earlier this year.
Well, that one missed. 3-1. Due up for the Aggies in their half of the 9th.
He can punch
It'll
out
be Keel, Farr, and Kent. 8, 9 at the top of the lineup.
Last time out against LSU, he walked 4. Or pardon me, he allowed 4 hits and 4 earned, and he gave up a couple of home runs. He only struck out 2 against
the Tigers. If you're Georgia, you just want to make sure that you get the top 3, because what you don't want to do is have Jace Laviolette step to the plate.
In my head, I'm going, all right, I'm counting it down. I'm going, okay, he's 4th. If this is what you want as an A&M fan, right? You get the first 3 guys on. Laviolette comes up and gives you a blast to cheer for, but you're right. That's exactly how you want to play it.
Back-to-back Ks for Wood.
If you're into due theories, he's due this weekend.
What do you think
to get a hit.
I didn't think so live.
Ground ball out to second.
To me,
play over to first, and it'll be in time. And Georgia will take a 7-4 lead into the top of the 9th inning. Do the Aggies have another run in them? We shall find out in a moment.
Your hands. Usually, umpires will give you the benefit of the doubt. Where it gets tricky is when that bat is even with your hands, and then umpires.
Now's the time for a great deal on the new Honda.
Feels like they're determining intent.
It's time for a different kind of power. Whether you choose an electric Honda, or a hybrid, from the Kelley Blue Book Best Value brand. Right now, you can get a 0.99% APR on a 2025 Prologue.
Arkansas. And there's the curveball again, 0-2.
And he's going to do it. He's going to climb the ladder with the heater. He's going to throw that hook right off of it. Kind of old school Nolan Ryan style. Like fastball at the letters, a true 12-6 curveball.
A third row that feels like first class. How it should be. The Hyundai Palisade.
You can see the split here.
Lease a Hyundai Palisade for only $389 a month. Or get 3.99% APR for 60 months. See your SoCal Hyundai dealer.
Now's the time for a great deal on the new Honda. It's time for a different kind of power.
Elevated fastball, you think?
Whether you choose an electric Honda,
that's what I would go with here,
or a hybrid.
And results in a strikeout
from the Kelley Blue Book Best Value brand.
After the first 3 reached via single.
Zone right here from Harris.
And now the 9-hole hitter. Sawyer Farr
Charles
stepping to the plate.
5'9", 190, a sophomore from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Played at a baseball academy in Florida
0 for 2 with a walk.
Florida Gulf Coast.
No home runs on the year. That just misses. 1-0 the count.
And a count 1-1 from Coons. What should we look for from Tegan Coons in terms of stuff?
Well, you're going to see the fastball click up into the mid-90s, and I think when he's at his best.
There's a strike. Georgia 28-4 here at home.
So can he, especially to right-handers, can he get the ball away to right-handers?
96. It's 96 really with some late movement away from those left-handed hitters.
He tends to do what you just saw right there. Tends to sometimes miss to the arm side where he can't quite land that breaking ball and the fastball to the outside part of the plate to right-handers and really stick it away to lefties. And so,
boy, Henry Hunter trying to frame that one nicely for Javero January, but he wasn't biting.
Typical freshman, just refining what he does and what he does best. He's in the middle of that process.
Well, as both a starter and reliever, he has pitched in 4 consecutive Tennessee losses.
Both teams have struck out 13 times today.
2 starts and 2 out of the pen.
2 and 2.
Short. Keelan, a little high, 1 down.
Georgia struck out 28 times in 2 games.
Series wins, a series wins.
Yes.
They got enough balls in play.
Arkansas last night smashed the
ground ball to the right side. Ryan Black fields.
He is just
throws, 2 down. Dogs 1 out away from their 18th conference win of the year. And it may be enough to get them a lock as a top 8 national seed.
Kuhn starts him off with a breaking ball.
Yeah, because usually when you get through the regular season, like the conference tournament, for the most part, can only help you. Like they don't really penalize teams if they've done what they needed to do in the regular season, like Georgia has done, getting that 18th win. I think that you're able to get this final out. That to me should lock up a top 8 seed.
Caden Kent.
So far, so good. I mean,
singled his last time up. 1 for 3 today with a walk.
Pitching guru to see what Tennessee loves about this young right-hander, and he's got all the makings.
And Aloy sends this one into the corner. 1 hops against the fence. And a Hawaiian flying towards second and will go in standing up. 1 out double for Vahiva Aloy.
And this is where you talk about the command piece, Tommy.
Caden's average at 280 this year.
Who will chase.
327 a year ago.
In a 1-2 count, this is a fastball that's supposed to be away, and what happens? It runs back.
That ball's lifted out to left center. Long run. Obi, McCarthy, and they're going to watch it get out of here.
1-2 mistake turns out to a rocket double for Vahiva Aloy.
7-5 our new score.
And here's Logan Maxwell. He's having a good series. First pitch curveball. Maxwell 5 for 9 this weekend with a home run.
Situation here where you just kind of let the pitcher provide the power. Man, he's 97 up in the zone. Caden Kent just puts a good swing on it.
I think it's Lima.
Enough barrel to ball.
Let's go with Lima.
Shows the power opposite field. Like he said, as the temperature starts to rise, the sun's out, the ball's jumping out here in Floyd Field.
Wind blowing that direction.
In the air to left, no wind to speak of.
And here's Chase Laviolette, who's looking for his first hit this weekend. Chase, 3 strikeouts.
Nice catch it with his nachos.
And a
foul
pop.
Tennessee Hawaiian shirt?
It is.
Okay. Maybe a Loy fan and a Tennessee fan? Maybe a little bit of both? Maybe he went to the Maui Invitational.
Takes that one down. It's 2-0.
Ball.
Already a better approach just in this at-bat because he's chased that exact pitch, twice so far today for punch-outs.
He's 0 for 9 with 8 strikeouts.
And curveball just low.
Ooh. And that one misses. 3-0.
Making a game of it late at Georgia. Caden Kent with a 2-out home run.
You're going to bring the tying run up to the plate and Wyatt Hensler.
That's a 2-run game with the Aggies trailing. They came in with an RPI of 55.
The way this game's going, do you expect anything else?
No.
With the back and forth, and that's just the nature of how these games go in the SEC on the weekend.
No, that is an elimination game for the Aggies. I don't see any way around it.
What is the highest RPI from an SEC team that ever got in? I feel like you could take that down maybe mid-40s.
It feels like it, and that's a Mark Etheridge question.
Laviolette looking at a 3-1. Make it 3-2.
And Burns loses Maxwell.
I like that fastball. You talk about challenging a big-time power hitter on a 3-1 pitch, and you know you're throwing a fastball.
That was
busted that sucker in.
Intentionally careful.
Well, here we go.
Well, if that's the case.
Game over. Georgia wins it. And they win the series 2-1, and they finish the SEC regular season 18-12.
Pitch to the next.
Correct.
They must like this matchup if you're right.
Leighton Finley was really good early on. The Bulldog bats came to play. A couple home runs here and scored some runs late.
He's a younger brother, but he's done. Harris
finishes it all.
Well, that's all from Athens. For Lance Cormier, the rest of our crew, I'm Dave Neal saying so long. From Foley Field, baseball continues next. Tennessee and Arkansas. Let's get you out to Baum Stadium in Fayetteville. Tom Hart, Chris Burke, guys.
Looks right now that
Dave, thank you. We welcome those of you watching Georgia finish off Texas A&M 7-5 in front of a sellout crowd at Foley Field in the Classic City. Tom Hart alongside Chris Burke. This is a decisive Game 3 between the Volley. Maxwell doesn't have a stolen base on the year. And a breaking ball. Another check swing, but he held it back. 3-1.
And this is where you talk about the process of a freshman developing. That's a 2-1 breaking ball that looks like a 1-2 breaking ball, like you're trying to get a chase. When in reality, you need to land that thing and, either induce weak contact or get a take and even up the count. Instead, it's your A+ breaking ball, and a veteran hitter puts on the brakes, and now you're in the tough hitters count 3-1.
It's a Tennessee team that was the last undefeated team in college baseball, started 20-0, but the Volunteers in conference play have lost 5 of their last 6 series, and Berkey is specifically the rubber game where they have faltered.
It's been crazy. They've lost 4 straight rubber matches, won their first 2 to start the year, and it has been tough sledding ever since. Excuse me, they started 2-1, and now they've lost 4 in a row. So, their inability to win Game 3 of series is the reason why they're still on the hosting bubble here in Game 30 of conference play.
Payoff pitch, fouled off.
You see that arm side life there, Tommy. That's 95-mile-an-hour fastball. That absolutely tied Ryder Helfrich up, who has no issues getting the barrel out in front, but that ball just exploded towards his handle there as it got to home plate.
Another throw over. Tennessee has been susceptible to the stolen base. Not so much this weekend. They came into the weekend having allowed 101 steals. And the 131 attempts against are 40 more than second place. And with the runner going, ground ball to short, backhanded pickup by Keelan. Long throw is late. Now throw back across the diamond. And Arkansas is aggressive on the bases. Razorbacks have evened the game at 1.
I mean, Ryder Helfrich.
Similar to Tennessee's start on the season, they raced out to a 32-3 record. They've only lost consecutive games twice this season. And the first time that didn't occur until mid-April in the series at Georgia. And then they lost the first 2 against LSU last weekend. This is Cam Kojal, the sophomore from Omaha, former Vanderbilt Commodore. 3 for 9 with a double this weekend. Did you talk to him about his siring goals? Said he wants to have 20 children after a 10-year or during a 10-year big league career. You didn't get a chance to ask him about that, huh?
No, I didn't, and I'm kicking I was so excited to talk to Charles Davalon about Brian Giles and the fact that I think that they're long-lost cousins. And I failed to ask Kojal about his desire to have 20 kids.
Kojal did a little bit of everything in high school. He was a freshman year QB. He said, I didn't always have muscles. Told Bill Mattingly that on the hog pod. Pretty well put together now, 5'10", 200. It's on Team USA's 18 and under national team. Little slot receiver and quarterback. Then on the varsity squad, later in his high school career and sends a curveball foul to the right side. In fact, he was behind Gabe Stanger his junior year, who was a starting quarterback before going on to Nebraska. That was at Millard South High School. You'll love this part of it, though, Berkey. He said, I also played defense, middle linebacker and safety, and there was nothing better than blowing somebody up.
Yes, sir. You got to love the two-way guys. Like, not only dual sport, but then two-way in one sport.
Yeah.
Like, those dudes are cut from a little different cloth.
Strikes me as the kind of guy that does not want to leave the field. No matter the sport. That is now the 9th pickoff attempt, or if you just want to call it a throw over for Tegan Coons. Marcus Phillips threw over 21 times the first game of the series on Thursday. Kozel sends it into the seats.
Well, a week ago, Coons threw 2 pickoffs away against Vanderbilt. So this is, you know, so far, every pickoff has been flawless from an accuracy standpoint. But, again, part of the Tennessee run game prevention troubles have been not only are you allowing stealing bases, but even throwing the ball away when you've attempted to pick. Helfrich got caught buckling there a little bit.
Well, in that Vandy game, 3rd game of that series, Vanderbilt won 7-5. The first run came across on a stolen base and a throwing error by Cannon Peebles, the catcher, over at 3rd. There he goes. It started to go. Now the back throw. It's too late. What happened there with Helfrich?
Well, maybe spun out. I don't know if that was an intentional deke, or, you know, sometimes you blow a tire on your way out of the brakes. Yeah, and I don't know. That maybe was an intentional deke there. I don't know.
Maybe he stepped on a pop top.
Could be.
Here's the 2-2. And he goes down swinging at the breaking ball. A lot of traffic for Tegan Coons, allowing a couple of hits, and a freshman from Marietta, Georgia, has put it together. He's got a 7-game hit streak going and is 3 for 6 with a home run this weekend. Takes 97 for a strike.
Yeah, yesterday he made it interesting late. A little 2-run Oppo Taco that was reviewed and clearly over the wall. As you can tell, he was a little confused by the
weren't we all?
Original call. But this is a young man that is destined to be a difference maker in this league. And yesterday was only his 2nd conference home run, but he was one of the breakout stars to start the season, as he was red hot in February and early March. But like a lot of freshmen, took his lumps early in SEC play, and Vitello's gone back to him here down the stretch and has started to stack quality at bats. And when you see that from a young player, especially with this much pop, eventually the home run power is going to return.
Catcher by trade, DH today, and that offering misses high. Levi's dad, Matt, was a football player at the University of Georgia. He went to Walton High School in Marietta, just outside of Atlanta. Here's the payoff to Clark. And he fouls it off. Linear audience hasn't heard much about Gage Wood. He appeared in a couple of games early this season, left a Michigan game with impingement in his shoulder. They shut him down for a little bit, then slowly worked their way back. He did not pitch at all in the month of March. This is just his 7th start of the season. High fastball velocity. Here's the 3-2 to Clark. And he gets him looking at 96, upper edge of the zone. That is 4 consecutive strikeouts for Gage Wood.
Yeah, pretty good at bat right there by Levi Clark, but a better pitch by Gage Wood. Top of the zone, right on the inside edge, and man, that will lock you up as a right-handed hitter when you're looking out over the plate. That is just a dot from Gage Wood. And as you said, Tommy, 4 in a row. The right-hander is certainly settling in here.
That's the first one looking, and now Cannon Peebles chases the high heat, nothing in 1. One set of numbers jumped out at me when I was looking into Wood on this season, and it is a very small sample size, only 16 1/3 innings pitched coming in. But he had allowed 14 hits and 4 of them home runs. Peebles connects. And I didn't go any deeper than that, but my guess is of those 4 home runs, vast majority, if not all of them, probably come on the fastball.
Yeah, I mean, he's throwing 70% heaters.
Yeah.
So similar to Liam Doyle, if you're going to get him, you're going to get him because you get a bloop and a blast or a walk and a multi-run homer, and it's hard to string together a ton of hits, even though Tennessee already has 4 singles in this ball game. But when you throw that many fastballs up in the zone in a league that has a ton of power hitters, you're going to give up some homers.
Power hitters and power arms. 11 different SEC pitchers have hit triple digits on at least one pitch this season. Manny Marin in the 9-hole rips a line drive to left. And I guess the point I'm making with that comment is velocity is really impressive when it pops on the scorebook. All of these elite hitters have seen it.
Yes. No, the only way you get swing and miss now, the velocity is helpful, but that's not it. It has the fastball has to have unique traits to it. What do I mean? Low release height, high spin, incredible sink or run. Like if you're just throwing hard, but the fastball has normal traits, you're going to get banged. I mean, these kids, they train for it. They see it every day. There's nothing unique to them about a mid to upper 90s fastball unless the ball has some sort of unique shape to it.
And now back to the top of the order, Gavin Keelan, who reached on a bloop single to start the game.
And no better example of that than Connor Fennell, who has as good a strikeout rate as anybody in the league. The number 3 starter for Vanderbilt, he throws 88. So it's the fact that the fastball has such a unique trait to it, more so than just the raw velocity.
1-1 now to Keelan. Came in from Louisville as a preseason second-team All-America. He was third-team All-ACC shortstop last year. He has upped his average. He has upped his power. Led the Cardinals in hits, doubles, and total bases. He hit for the cycle at Louisville. This is the 7th player in program history to do that. That came in a conference game against Virginia Tech. Keelan from Milton, Wisconsin. You don't usually find a lot of talent in the upper Midwest, and he goes down on 96. That is strikeout number 5 for Gage Wood. Fielders can grab a beverage. All of his outs have come via the K.
And it's that exact same pitch right there again. Above the letters, you're not going to get to it. You got to figure a way to lay off of it, and this is the guy. I mean, if you're a Tennessee fan, this is the dude you want up here with 2 on and 2 out.
Andrew Fisher leads the SEC in home runs with 21, and he yanks the first pitch into the right field corner. Peebles will score. Marin will be held at third. And it's a run-scoring double for Andrew Fisher, who is 2 for 2 to start this game.
Now,
here's Hunter Ensley. And a curveball up in the zone for strike 1 to Ensley. Another curveball. This one is short. The Hiva Aloy. And that will close the visiting half of the second. But Tennessee able to push another run across and reclaim the lead. Volunteers lead 2-1. Question whether or not he would be here. Junior from Sydney, New South Wales, Australia. And loops this one into the seats. Heads up.
I mean, yeah, I guess maybe. I mean, you know, you never know if maybe he had a busy Saturday afternoon. Something tells me he clears his schedule on home games.
Yeah, I think so. I think he had that cleared and ready to go. There are no rules in the hog pen. Self-police out there.
Okay.
And please pick up your own trash. Or be a good sport and recycle.
That's right.
1-2 to Iredale, in on the thumbs. Caboose gang, bottom of this Arkansas lineup. They really add depth to what this offense is overall. They score 9 runs a game. Homered 107 times. It's top 5 in the country. They're just awfully consistent 1 through 9.
Yeah, and they've been really, really good here in this series. As this one, I don't know how it missed them. That's one you'd like to see him wear a changeup on a 1-2 count. That would have been a friendly HBP. And this is the deal with Coons. Like, he gets ahead, barely misses with a cutter, a couple sloppy changeups, back to the cutter, and now you find yourself in a full count. The fastball has life to it. It's just, can you put guys away? That's the pieces are all there. Can you put it together and eliminate some of these veteran hitters in this Arkansas line? There's not too many caboose gangs like this Arkansas group where you got to fight as hard as you have to at the bottom third.
And Iredale goes down looking at the cutter. Back-to-back strikeouts for Tegan Coons.
A little surprised Iredale didn't pull the trigger here. That's a cutter. You know, maybe it kind of front doored him a little bit. That froze him. You see he puts on the brakes early, and that's a nice pitch there by Tegan Coons, who finally gets rid of Iredale. That has not been an easy task this weekend, having a heck of a series.
Here's Reese Robinette, and looks at a first pitch breaking ball. Sophomore from Kennett, Missouri. And he pops this one up to the left side. Racing in is Bargo, and eventually gets in position, 2 down.
It's called a big league pop up there, Tom.
Yes.
Robinette almost made it to second base. You hit a ball in the air, and you're almost to second by the time it's caught. That's the definition of just missing it.
Two down for Justin Thomas Jr. His former team Georgia got a win against Texas A&M today. Preceded us on the SEC Network, and that puts him at 18-12 in conference play. Swing and a miss on the curveball, 0-2. And a great run for the bottom third of this order. 5 for 11 Thursday in what was an Arkansas loss. Another good day at the plate for the trio last night.
Well, I think we saw this a lot with Tennessee's team last year. I think one of the reasons so many people are bullish on Arkansas's chances to win the whole thing is because of how much firepower the top of the order has, how many home runs they can produce there in the top half, and then how much length that they have. And Robinette's numbers aren't on par with the rest of the lineup. That's because he just basically found himself playing here down the stretch. But it's a dangerous one, 1 through 9.
Coons gets his 3rd strikeout. A couple of curveballs for Thomas Jr. Could 16 seed. They saved a couple of arms for Hoover. They'd obviously have to win it all to get in at large. So would South Carolina and A&M as 16, 15, and 14 seeds.
Well, the Mississippi State hitters are
thankful.
They're already off to an 8-1 start.
What would you send? A fruit basket? Like what's a proper thanks?
Ace Reese is going to send some Christmas cards to the Missouri staff. He's putting together quite a weekend.
Lob wedge left center for Bargo. And there's one down with Rowe. And you start looking outside the SEC for other hosts. That might knock West Virginia out. NC State lost to Stanford last night.
Yeah, I think West Virginia is definitely out. They already lost the series to Kansas, and their resume was already
shaky.
Yeah, just there's almost no high-end wins on it.
All right, so I got an X next to West Virginia.
I would put Coastal in. They clinch their conference last night, and they've been red hot.
2-1. And he missed with 97. What do you got on NC State?
I think that one's pretty shaky. I mean, today would be a must for Stanford, that's for sure.
South Carolina, by the way, has a 1-0 lead on LSU in the third. Anthony Ianson on the bump for the Tigers today. 3-2. Gage Wood already at 57 pitches here in the third inning. And beautiful pitch on the edge to get Curley looking. Strikeout number 6. Well, if he can do this, it'll be effective.
Yeah, that looked like.
Well, that was less on the edge than I thought.
Yeah, Dean Curley. Like I don't know what about that pitch would not have you pulling the trigger. See him just put his head down right away. Go from ahead in the count to taking strike 3 on a pitch that literally in the scouting report, you're like, that's the one you're hunting versus Gage Wood.
Reese Chapman fouls the first one off. Feels like a big one for Alabama today on the road against Florida. The game starts momentarily.
Tommy, NC State's got an RPI of 30 now, and they're not hosting.
All right. I got an X next to NC State now. Chris Burke official.
ACC, SEC teams don't host with RPIs in the 30s. Ain't happening.
Curveball in for a strike. Mountaineers down 7-0 in the ninth. They're about to get swept at home. This should follow through with that. So those were coming in, the 15 and 16 seeds are the latest projections this week. That opens the door for the likes of Southern Miss. Here's the 0-2. It's upstairs.
You know, the last 4 spots in the pecking order are going to be interesting. I think TCU's right in the mix. I think Oregon.
They had TCU ahead of Alabama. This one's looped into right field, and that drops in for a base hit. Reese Chapman with a 2-out single. Then the inning for Levi Clark.
Another hitter that's had a nice series that Tennessee was looking to get going. Reese Chapman now 4 for 10 in the series. Definitely a positive development there in the back half of this Tennessee order.
Clark struck out looking his first time up. He's hitting 15 points higher against righties than he is lefties on the season. OPS over 1,100, 9 home runs for the freshman, including one this weekend.
We said it last night. I say it again. Here we are, the last day. We said it yesterday with 2 games.
We got a new
ago.
audience. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I mean, just I can't think of a year where there's less decided this late in the season. Even I really can't think of a year where people are less convicted about who the #1 overall seed should be. And I think ultimately it will be Texas because they are the conference champion of the best league. But, you know, especially if they lose today, they will kind of limp their way into it. You know, with losers of their last 3 series, that would be a really odd thing. And usually the #1 seed, it's a no-doubter going into the stretch. Like you have 0. It might be between 2 teams that feel like they're above everybody else, but rarely is it we can't figure out who #1 is.
2-2 to Clark, and didn't chase the curveball. Runner goes, and the throw right in on Reese Chapman. Hit him, and he ends up with his 3rd stolen base of the year. Well, you get Texas, LSU, Arkansas, Florida State, the top 4 coming into this weekend.
Florida State's, they're out. I mean, heck, you look at Florida State, not only.
Hold on, you say they're out.
They're out as a top 8. To me, they're 15th RPI and just dropped a home series. That's how, and I think they were projected to win it, right? And that's how much can change. So you were projected to beat another top 8 national seed at home, which would put you in the top 8. But
who were they playing this weekend?
They're playing Carolina.
Yeah.
But you lose the first 2 games, and now your RPI is 15. Like, rarely is a major conference team with an RPI of 15 a top 8 seed. That's just not a lot of precedent for that.
Three-two. So you're talking about.
I don't make the seeds, but that.
No, but
you know.
But with that, them dropping down, you're talking about the top 5 seeds all being out of the SEC. Maybe deeper than that.
No, Carolina's going to be a top 4 seed.
Okay, so you got Carolina going up.
Yes.
Yeah. So would you just flip those two?
I got Carolina in the top 4. I mean, to me, they have been the rock of that conference this year.
70th pitch of the game from Gage Wood is in the dirt, and it's a 2-out walk. Curveball in for a strike to Cannon Peebles. He singled and scored his first time.
The ACC is really tough to figure. I mean, like the SEC, you feel like you're not sure who the top 3 or 4 are, but the top 7 or 8, you feel like any given weekend could beat each other. The ACC, it's like every time a team seems to stick their neck out a little bit, they fall back. NC State was red hot, then they backed up here a little bit. Clemson was the most consistent early, and they've been pretty shaky lately. Miami went on a crazy run, and then they lost a home series. Like it's just been hard to figure in that league.
Ball on the strike to Peebles. Chapman at second, Clark at first. Well, and obviously, what hurts in the ACC is if you lose a series, you're at risk of dropping significantly in the RPI because you're not surrounded by so many great teams like the SEC has. So it's much more damaging to lose a series, especially if you drop one at home. Carolina and Florida State this weekend notwithstanding. Popped up, out of play to the left.
Yeah, and the craziness of that is if Virginia wins today, they'll be 16-11. Florida State and them lost the series, right?
Yeah.
They'll be 16-11, which that's a slam dunk, right? Of course you're in at 16-11. But their RPI is 58.
Extenuating circumstances. They didn't play that series due to the shooting on campus at Tallahassee. And even if you lose the series, there's an RPI bump for going on the road against a top 10 RPI program, regardless of where they were at the time or where they end up.
Well, yeah, I mean, I can't think of a time where a team that's 5 games over in the SEC or ACC would be in a bubble this late in the season. I mean, it's just really odd.
Wood really battling, and the 2-2 curveball is swung on a miss by Peebles. He allowed a couple of base runners with 2 down, but now Gage Wood sitting at 7.
And he had not seen them, not really heard of them. They both wear number 24. They're literally the exact same height. They start and make the same move to get ready to swing the bat. And he got a kick out of it. He's kind of a baseball nerd, so he enjoyed it. I think he enjoyed it.
He enjoys that. We know that for a fact. His first hit of the game, and he continues his hit streak. Now at 8 games. Clean single to start the 3rd. First leadoff man to reach for Arkansas today, and it brings Vahiba Aloy to the plate.
It reminds me of Giles, too, in his ability to discern balls and strikes. 28 walks and only 22 Ks on the season.
Do you think he would have told you if he didn't enjoy it?
No, that's what I'm saying. That's why I said I think he enjoyed it, because...
Was he muttering in French under his breath?
He spoke English, so that part I feel good about.
Aloy doubled and scored his first time up. And the count 1-0. Tegan Kuhn's first trip through the order allowed 2 hits and a walk. He struck out 3. Snap throw to first. Davalon 7 for 10 on the bases. He was a hockey player growing up in Canada for a good chunk of his life. Finally gave it up once he got into his high school years. with this Arkansas coaching staff at the front end of the series and whether or not they plan to try and take advantage of Tennessee's inefficiencies in defending the run game. And it's not a great fit for Arkansas like it would be Vanderbilt, Oklahoma, Kentucky at times.
Auburn.
Yeah.
They're just not the same roster.
And with the power, why risk giving up outs? And the key word there is risk. Tennessee did a great job of shoring up their run defense this weekend, and it got a balk. Whoa! And it looked like he had Davalon picked off. Tony Vitello would like an explanation. It was called by the first base umpire, Jeremy Dupree. It was called immediately.
Fisher, like, I'm not going to hear it from you.
Poke to the right side, and through the wickets on Curley, his 14th error. Davalon waltzes home, and Arkansas takes advantage.
Is now back tied here because of taking advantage of the opportunities that you get.
Runner goes, a throw from Peebles, comes in on a short hop, had to reach for the tag, and it's a stolen base for Aloy.
So the throw beats him there, ball's caught, but look how Keelan goes reaching for the tag instead of snapping the tag. And I think the kind of the dive attempt by Keelan is in a beautiful slide by Aloy.
It's an Arkansas team that is 31-4 at home. Opponent's ERA in this ballpark is 11.31.
Only been one. Ike Irish hit one.
Okay.
Allegedly. It was in the pouring down rain. I'm not sure.
And it may or may not have hit the wall.
That's right. That's right. But it counted as a homer.
1-2 to Maxwell. Drew a walk his first time up. And another curveball.
Tennessee infield defense continues to be a question mark on this team, Tommy. I think they've done a much better job this weekend of holding runners, but the infield defense cost them a couple runs last night, already cost them one here in this one.
Where did the margin for error shrink for Tennessee this year relative to what this team has been? Because they've outplayed their blemishes at times in years past. Maybe they've outslugged it.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think they outslugged it. I mean, last year, they're still hitting a bunch of home runs this year, but last year was literally the second most in the history of the sport. So there's a wide gap between a top 5 home run hitting team in the country and the second best one ever in college baseball. But I will say, to be fair to Dean Curley, Dean Curley was rock solid last year, shortstop for a national championship team. It's just been, you can go into defensive funks. That's a real thing. We don't talk about it as much as we do on the offensive side of things, but you could see right there on that ground ball, he got a little stiff with his feet. There's that uncertainty of reading the hop. Do I go get it? Do I stay back? He's also, to be fair to the kid, he's playing a position he's really never played. Shortstop, third baseman pretty much his whole life. Now he's playing second base, where for the most part, if a ball gets hit like that to you on the left side, you know immediately I'm going to charge it. Second base, you don't have to as much, so sometimes that can cause you to be a little less aggressive, and that hop certainly played him.
3-2 to Maxwell. He's been walked twice in this game. There's action in the Tennessee bullpen. Dylan Loy is the lefty. We saw Austin Breedlove throw last night.
Breedlove was really good. Kept Tennessee with a chance to potentially steal that game late.
One of the 3 Alohogs on the roster. Nolan Sousa is injured, not available, but the 2 Aloy brothers We've got the Hawaiian theme with the Alloys. We've got the Australian theme with Iredale. If you sell Arkansas baseball tchotchkes, you're making a mint.
Does any fan base do a better job of embracing the personalities of their players?
2-0. No, I don't think so.
No. Not a better job. I mean, look at Norm DeBriyn's guy. I mean, what are we doing here?
The Deacon with the Hawaiian shirt.
I mean, that's fantastic.
30 years the head coach here. Infield will get together and have a chat. Two and 0 the count. Akuyo Aloy. We got the Flamingos, the Lays, we got Baum Walker hat. It is a colorful scene here in Fayetteville. By the way, they also have softball going on, or did, on campus just around the corner. And the Arkansas softball team got a walk-off win against Oklahoma State in the NCAA tournament, thanks to Courtney Day. Younger Aloy brother leads the SEC in ribbies with 68. One knock against him in conference play. He's got a 32% strikeout rate. We saw a bunch of cutters his first time up before lining out to right field. And now the 2-0. There's another one.
It felt like Andrew Fisher kind of led that meeting at the mound right there. That looked like Andrew Fisher going up there and really challenging the young right-hander to trust his stuff and get the ball in the strike zone.
And he misses. It's a 4-pitch walk to Aloy. Single, balk, error, walk, walk. And the bases are loaded, and that brings out the beer hats. Or just the beer. She's got two of them.
Tony Vitello, this could get spicy here. He's not happy.
And he is working Jeff Head. And he's still upset about the balk. Is a fair assumption as he motioned over to Jeremy Dupree.
Well, that was a little tamer than I thought. It looked like he came out with a couple words for Jeff Head, but that didn't seem confrontational at all. And back to Austin Breedlove.
So it ends the line for Tegan Coons at just 2 innings pitched. This is a day after Tennessee ace Liam Doyle got touched for 11 hits, 8 runs, 6 of them earned, despite 10 strikeouts in last night's loss. Coons exits, Breedlove enters. We'll tell you about the new Tennessee pitcher when we return to Fayetteville in a moment. And enters with the bases loaded. He misses on a curveball to Helfrich, who did this last night.
Yeah, you got to be careful against Ryder Helfrich now. If he's hunting a fastball, he can do some serious damage, and that's exactly what he did against Liam Doyle. 2-run homer in the seats. Boy, Arkansas fans would love one of those here.
Breedlove entered in the 5th inning with 2 outs, got a caught stealing to end the frame. And he struck out Helfrich looking. Helfrich has an RBI today. 2-0 pitch. Chopped to third, foul territory. They were coming home with it. Peebles bailed on the play because it was a foul ball, and Jeff Head had to scamper out of the way.
Yeah, neither party was interested in finishing that play off. They had both given up on the play, but Manny Marion clearly didn't hear the ball being called foul.
Charles Davalon started this inning with a single. He was picked off at first, but it was called a balk by Jeremy Dupree, and then Everything went sideways. 2-1 to Helfrich. And he tattoos it to left. See if it's got carry. Bargo back. He lost it. And he lost it because it's over the fence and into the bullpen. Grand slam Ryder Helfrich. That ball was straight up. It came off the bat at 46 degrees, and Bargo had no idea where it was. It didn't matter. And Chris Burke, one missed call started all of this.
Well, yes, and Arkansas continues to do what they do, which is make them pay. And they are calling the Hogs and feeling it here at Baum Walker. What a...
Inherited 3 runners. They all scored.
And now to Dylan Lloyd. Dylan Lloyd, one of the most trusted bullpen arms in this on this Tennessee roster, gets the ball, pitched in game 1 in this series, and now gets a chance here, I would assume, to give them some length, see if he can settle things down. A big-time breaking ball, fastball 88 to 90, slider, curveball, and a changeup, and he has been rock solid. How about 12 hits in 26 and 2/3 innings?
Lloyd threw game 1 of this series in relief of Marcus Phillips. But he only faced one batter. That lone batter was Kojal. Yeah, it is Saturday. I keep feeling like it's Sunday. Thanks for the flag reminder. You think that kid's having fun?
I think there's a lot of people having fun right now. And it's only the bottom of the 3rd.
It's bottom of the 3rd in a series that has been wildly offensive.
Yes. And your boy is feeling it. Your boy.
Yeah, sure. And a first pitch breaking ball to Cam Kojal for a strike. So interesting, you point out with Lloyd, this probably gives him some length. They didn't use him for length on Thursday night. This face Kojal got him and left. A little bit different game 3 of a series with the bullpen usage already. And Kojal sends it to center. Ensley. It's the first out of the inning. Mention how one missed call can kind of send a team sideways. How much of that is the impact emotionally or mentally? Not just the changes then when you reconstruct the inning and now you're holding a runner at second as opposed to having the bases empty and all along those lines.
Yeah, I think it all snowballs. I think, you know, every play leads to the next, and the best teams are the ones that are able to minimize damage and get past calls or breaks that you don't think go your way. And the opposite's also true. The opposite is also true, that the best teams figure out a way when they do get a break to capitalize. And you know that the balk call clearly was a call that changed this inning. By the same token, you can make the play on the ground ball and throw a few more strikes and it wouldn't have to unravel into a 4 spot.
Yeah, it took him 25 pitches to get the first out as opposed to what would have been less than 10 pitches into the inning. Brent Iredale struck out looking his first time up. Here's Loy's 1-2. upstairs. Wind was a major factor yesterday. Almost blew Chris Burke right off the top of the mountain on the golf course, but blowing in from left or left to right today. And there's a walk to Iredale. He becomes the sixth base runner of the inning for Arkansas, and it brings Reese Robinette to the plate.
Just no easy outs, nowhere to go for a breather in this lineup. Iredale has been as effective as any hitter Arkansas has had, maybe outside of Helfrich, who's already got 5 ribbies in this game. But just overall in the series, the way the bottom third of this order has, at the very least, made Tennessee work just to retire them. There's a cumulative effect to that. We're on a record-setting pace here, Tommy.
Yeah.
It's an hour and a half. We are not through 3, and we're an hour and a half deep.
Could you imagine thinking you could make a 6 p.m. flight?
No, that's why I didn't book it.
Robinette waves at that one, 1-1. Some fan just yelled, almost got him. There's so many great baseball parks in the SEC. Tough to find any place better than this. And then when the home team gets a lead, the fans gain this confidence.
Oh, yeah.
The color is outstanding. Finally warmed up. Temperatures in the mid-80s before we're finished today.
It's been warm all around the conference this weekend. The ball has been flying out of the park. Now I think Frank Anderson's just trolling him.
I can't imagine. Here's the 1-2. Robinette, as I mentioned, from Kennett, Missouri, home of Grammy Award winner Sheryl Crow. And all they're doing here is having fun today, thanks to a 5 spot in the 3rd. And Billy out there in left is still peeling the labels from his can of bud, maybe. Popped up, shallow right, lost by Curley, went all the way around. Around his elbow to get to his ankles that time, 2 down. What happens when you get turned around like that?
Well, the ball can play some tricks on you, and it'll happen because that ball started to his glove side and then faded back towards center field. So, yeah, I thought that was one of those balls that can get really tricky when it has a little cut action to it. But fortunately, Curley was able to settle underneath it and retire him easily.
Justin Thomas Jr. is the 9th batter of the inning for the Razorbacks. Struck out swinging in the 2nd. And 1-0 to Thomas. Thomas went down swinging on a curveball from Tegan Coons in the 2nd. Dylan Loy is the 3rd pitcher of the game for Tennessee. Elsewhere, Florida State trying to bounce back against North Carolina in a top 5 showdown at Mike Martin Field. It's a 3-1 Seminole lead. They're in the 7th in Tallahassee. Fouled straight back. We will chat with the head Vol, Tony Vitello, in the next half inning. When we talked to him on air Thursday night, he labeled it a welcome distraction. I hope we can do him the same favor today. What are you going to ask him?
What he had for breakfast.
There you go.
You?
I'm going to lead with the balk just to see.
Okay.
You know, I don't want to get anybody in trouble or fined.
You going to call him the weatherman again?
No, well, we haven't had weather this week. Runner goes, the throw is high. His dad, Coach Vitello, at the ballpark this weekend.
Brent Iredale, man, what a pickup he has been for Arkansas. Plays as steady at third base as you can ask. Hits the ball at the ballpark. He's got 56 RBIs in the 7-hole. And oh, by the way, 7 for 7 stealing bags.
Yeah, it's a good pickup.
Yeah.
Loy misses low. First Aussie in Arkansas baseball history. Play with any Australians? They would have had an accent that was different than yours.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, I see the wheels turning.
Well, I know I played against a few, and I'm trying to think if I played with any.
This ball is launched but foul.
There was a left-handed pitcher when I was in the Texas League who played for San Antonio. Travis Blackley was his name. Had 1 million at-bats off of him. I know there's somebody I'm missing in the big leagues. Reliever.
Phil Stockman? No?
Reliever for the Braves. A reliever for the Braves.
Yeah, that'd be Phil Stockman. Ball 4. Thomas. It's a second walk from Loy. Arkansas bats around. Charles Davalon gets another opportunity here. Davalon singled to start this inning and seemingly picked off.
That was this inning?
Yeah. Oh, Peter Moylan, is that who
there you go?
Yeah.
Peter Moylan.
That was too obvious. First, yeah, that was this inning. Charles Davalon reached from Montreal, Quebec. His parents are long-distance runners. Parents met in France at a track meet. Dad French, mom from Toronto area, 101. He was talking about high school baseball in Canada, and he said it's just vastly different than what I've witnessed here in the States. First of all, there aren't that many programs, and secondly, there are no fans at the games. That made it sound more like intramurals.
I know there's some good summer programs up in the Toronto, Montreal area, but
well, that's part of it. They can't start playing until so late. And you said, you know, it's really limited how many games you end up playing with the high school team. It was rated the #6 prospect in the country. 2-1 pitch. They ended up piling into the family truckster and driving from Montreal down to South Florida. He went to TNXL Baseball Academy. It was a 27-hour drive. I would assume they broke it up.
I would assume.
Are you good? What's the longest you can go behind the wheel?
I've done some 15, 16 hours. I once drove straight back from Houston to Louisville. That was not my smartest idea.
Chopper back to the mound, and Loy finally finishes the inning.